Hazel High School. My name is Brad Elson. I'm the high school band director here. We have 3 ensembles, actually 4 ensembles. We had the jazz band out in the hallway earlier. Thank you so much for stopping by and helping them out. They're such a great group of kids to work with. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night is a journey, but they do such a wonderful job. It's hard to balance sports and all that other stuff, and we try to do the best that we can in this part to include everybody, regardless of what you're involved with. On stage is the concert band, and we have 2 groups. There's actually 2 classes in front of you. We have concert percussion class. We also have the concert band. The concert band meets 3rd hour, and our percussionist meets 6th hour. We've only had 2 rehearsals in order to put this together. So I think they're doing a pretty good job. Don't you think? Our next piece is entitled The Childhood Hymn, and is by David Holsinger. David Holsinger usually writes a lot of works for really advanced bands. And I'm really pleased to get my hands on this piece of music, and I hope that you will find there's a familiar melody if you can listen for it. So I hope you enjoy A Childhood Hymn. audience participation on this next one. Everyone do this. Cool. I go like this, and you stop. It's important that we do this, but not this. This is really cool, I know. Okay? So when I turn around, I will go like this, and I'll give you something to do. You are actually part of this piece. It's called the falling rain. Our last piece is entitled Free Folk Song Medley. It's based off of an era-ring Korean folk song. And John Barnes chances this in his variations on a Korean folk song that we played a few years back in Symphonic Winds. And we get a chance to play this. It's a very cool piece of music, and it's got multi-movements. There's a lot of different things going on, and we get to learn how to play in 6/8, 3/4, and all fun stuff. So I hope you enjoy Korean folk song medley. Thank you. I had a lot of fun with that piece. Our next piece is entitled Glasgow Sketches. It's different movements. There's 5 movements. And normally during a multi-movement work, we don't clap in between movements, so we have some sort of like fast-paced piece, and then the next movement kind of brings it down, and then what you set up is for the next part. So we as performers would appreciate it if you would refrain from clapping until the very end, the 5th movement. I didn't put it in the program, I'm sorry for that. However, there's 5 movements, and as soon as my hands come down, then you guys can feel free to show your gratitude for the piece that we just played. So here is Glasgow Sketches. Beginning of the school year, I had a couple of students that came to me and said, Mr. Charleston, we want to put a band together. And I said, you have band as a class. What are you talking about? And they said, well, we want to play a piece of music by Robert W. Smith. We played last year. I said, oh, what would that be? He said, it's a great locomotive juice. I said, oh, excellent. No. And Jacob was persistent. He said, oh, we should play this piece, we should play this piece. And he did really well. I said, well, if you put it together, you go ahead and do the flyers, and you get everybody to sign up, and you can rehearse it and all that stuff. I'll supply the music, you just supply the manpower. And it was, he's very ambitious, and we had a bunch of kids, and then it was just like, instrumentation was poorly done. Well, let's just put it on the concert, it'll be fun. So, a lot of these kids, raise your hand if you played this last year. But they didn't play it this fast. So it goes like this. They wanted to, the Union Army wanted to stop the Confederates during the Civil War. They wanted to steal a locomotive, and they were going to go take it down, and they were going to interrupt all the supply lines. So after they went by, they were going to tear up all the tracks and things like that. And it was 11 people, and I think only 2 of them were actually in the Army. And what they did is they stole this train when it stopped for breakfast, because you couldn't eat breakfast on the train. They didn't have that at the time. So the train stops for breakfast, everybody gets off, these guys get on, and they take off. And here's the funny part. How did they go ahead and try to catch the train the first time? They ran after it. So the train is going, and there's people running. The conductor is running after his train. So then he gets on a cart, and they start do after the train, which is going 25 miles an hour, by the way. It tops, it's cruising. And then they commandeer another train, the Texas, and the train is going that way, and they want to go that way. So they get in that train, and they chase after that train going what? Backward, yes. So now they're at 45 miles an hour going backwards, and then they hit a spot that they tore up the track, and they ended up getting on another train, and they come up and they catch them. And the story is on Wikipedia if you want to look it up. And it's actually a pretty cool thing. And so there's a little low point in there, and we've got a great horn section. There's 6 horns. I'm so blessed to have such a great group of kids that can play that well. And so it's a really cool piece of music. It's programmatic, so you can kind of hear what goes on. There's some train effects, and there's also some chase effects. And we hope you like our version of Robert W. Smith's great locomotive chase. Myself a note, and I totally missed it. I want to acknowledge the seniors that are performing in their last concert this evening. We have senior trumpet player Elijah Mays. Senior flute player Bethany Bacon. Oh, Nick, he doesn't come. Nick is with the next group, and he's filling in on trombone. Nick Lemire's on his last concert too, so I'll give him and Destiny Snyder, if you look in the program, she's in all three bands too. So. What's interesting? What can we work with? What would be fun to play? What would be something cool? And I came across this piece from something else. Like, when you get on YouTube and you like watch something and it's like, hey, you might like all of this. Yeah, and then an hour and a half later, you don't know what you did with your life. That's what I ended up doing. So I said, oh, this is great. This is a great piece. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. So I bought it because it's by a man named John Mackey. And the first John Mackey piece that I heard was called Kingfishers Catch Fire. And it was at the Michigan State Band and Orchestra Association All-State Band Honors Band, which we had a student, Rachel Stevens, who played trumpet in that ensemble, and it was the most magnificent piece of music. It was just so fiery, and I thought, wow, we gotta play a piece by John Mackey, but he writes such hard stuff. So when I ordered this piece of music, it says grade 3, but it's got 12 percussionists. It's for found percussion. Anything that's got metal, steel, things like that. You'll hear mixing bowls up here. We've got temple blocks. We've got china cymbals. We've even got things that says 4 metal piles. So we gave the metal piles to the pile person, Zach, and he's playing basically they're wrenches that are all just like zip tied together. So anyways, it's a pretty cool piece. This is the first time that we put all the percussions together. So hope that you enjoy Found 3. So when you get older, you go through stages in your life, right? Like graduating from high school, that these kids are going to do in about 3 weeks. You also go through graduating from college, moving on, getting your first job, getting married, having kids. Well, I'm at the stage now where all my friends just got married, and all of my friends are now having kids. And I was at my friend Joe, who I went to college with. He's a horn player in my studio, and we were at his wedding reception because he got married down in Florida. And I ran into Dr. Zirk, who is our horn professor, and he said, I want to write a piece of music about the Edmund Fitzgerald. And he's an avid sailor. He built all the houses on your street? 2. Okay. And he was always building a sailboat in your barn, in your garage. And he said, what do you think? Do you think we should go, would you be interested? I said, oh my gosh, please. It's so hard to find people who are willing to write pieces of music today that are quality, and we don't want to keep playing the same things over and over again. And not to mention, not all composers are dead. And so I said, please, by all means. And so he set off, this was a couple of years ago, and we decided to, and I hadn't heard anything back, and then I heard, how do you grade music and things like that, we exchange sheets and stuff like that. And so then finally I get a package in the mail, and it says 29 bells on it. It's got my name, and I said, oh, I open it up, and there's a recording, and there's all this music. I thought, wow, this is great. And so, I sent an email to Dr. Zirk and said, I'd like to put on the concert and all this stuff, to keep calm and all that. He and his wife, Gail, just got back yesterday from Marquette, because they had a concert in Marquette and played this piece. So I know that he's long traveled, and I want him to come and say a few words about this piece of music and his aspirations for writing this piece. I want to give a huge warm welcome to Dr. Willard Zirk.
Will you permit me, Brad, to just reminisce? I had these memories, these flashbacks, and I was thinking about Brad's senior horn recital, and it was one of the finest senior recitals, one of the strongest ones. And Brad mentioned to the band this morning, he said, yeah, I had to undergo an embouchure change. And when he came up, he said, well, we got to change your embouchure. And it was tough. It was a 4-year project. But I remember him playing the Strauss horn concerto. You guys had to play it. And he can play it really well at one point. So anyway, forgive me for that little Ozzy Fong memories. Brad always had a calmness about him. And I see that in working respect and all of that comes through. So my hat's off to you, fine students, and hearing such a well-trained performance, several performances this evening. So permit me to say a couple of things. Yeah, I'm a boat nut, and it's all vicarious, meaning I don't have a boat yet. But finally, I'm going to start building a sailboat this summer. It's finally going to happen. Life happened between the time I decided I wanted to do that. And about 8 years ago, I visited the Shipwreck Museum, the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum at Whitefish Point. And has anybody been there before? Several people, right? And at the time, I was just there last Saturday too, Saturday. And at the time, 8 years ago, they played the Gordon Lightfoot tune continuously. That just was in my head, and it was such a moving, and it still is such a moving exhibit, and several other shipwrecks too. I like to go back there. I've been back there several times, and now they play the Gordon Lightfoot tune once every 15 minutes or so. And they intersperse other music, but very moving. The Edmund Fitzgerald is the largest exhibit and the last one, and probably the most well documented, although very little is known about the exact reason it perished, it sank. There are about 3 theories, and since no one survived, several of the wrecks, many people have survived and lived to tell about it. But probably the Lightfoot song just haunted me so much, and I thought I'd like to tell this story. So, just a couple words. Brad gave me 5 minutes. Have I used up the 5 minutes yet? So, it starts in 1957, the building of it, and June 7th, 1958 was the launching, and I was able to get a video of the launching. So that's part of the program. This music, by the way, is very, very difficult. It's movie music, and lots of changes, and my hat's off to this wonderful group of musicians for tackling it. I'm just really impressed, so thank you for your fine work. It goes through the sailing and of course the sinking of it, but there's one scene. It's a representation of the train switch yards, and actually, just on YouTube I found a video of somebody had taken a picture of trains going over a viaduct and then loading the iron ore, the taconite, and I emailed the fella and I asked him if I could use that video for this representation. And he took the picture up in Marquette. There's an active dock, and I met him yesterday morning, or yesterday noon. We had lunch together. It was such a privilege to meet somebody who is actually a train nut. He has lots of trains videos on YouTube. And then there is one more thing about this that is out of sequence. The whole story is about from the building to the sinking. But I had to interject a story that I discovered. I've read several books about it. And the second to the last captain, his name is Peter Pulser. And Peter Pulser was a music lover, a classical music lover, and he loved marches. And he was also quite a character. He was sort of a rascal. And if you know the geography of the Sault Ste. Marie locks, that's the St. Mary's River, starting at the end of the east end of Lake Superior, and it goes down through St. Mary's River. And along St. Mary's River are camping grounds. And so Captain Peter Pulser, if the occasion happened that he was traveling through that area early in the morning, he would blaringly wake up the campers with a march. And so I had to tell that little story. It's out of sync, but you'll understand. It just sort of comes in the middle of this of the music. Well, thank you for listening to my explanation. Thank you for your really great support of this wonderful group that you have. I would say you have a musical gem in Brad Elstone. I know I'm very prejudiced, but it's true. I see somebody who is so competent to play the keyboard, to understand all of the instruments. I'm really proud. Eastern Michigan is really proud of you. And we look forward to this performance. Thank you.
I want to thank all of you for coming out this evening. What a brilliant piece of music. Thank you once more for input. So it's a warm welcome to Dr. Zerk. Thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words too. And in my class, we try to do things in a democratic fashion where we vote for stuff. And I always tell kids, hey, go to these couple websites. If you find something that you like, send it my way. Send me an email, and I will take a look at it. A student, Sarah Thompson, who sent me an email and said, you should check this piece out. It's pretty cool. And I liked it, so I bought it. And so this is a piece that's in multimeter. And before we do that, I do want to recognize all the seniors. And they're in your program. And so I do want you guys to stand and be recognized. So can you guys, all the seniors that are performing in their last concert this evening, please stand. And I will go through. They've been a wonderful, wonderful group of kids to work with. Spending 4 years with these kids is probably the only reason I do my job. I wouldn't do this job if I weren't teaching band. If I were teaching 9th grade algebra, it would be a whole different ballpark. And I would probably strike out a lot. I have the best of the best. They treat me with respect. I try to treat them with as much respect as they give me. And they're wonderful young adults. They've matured and grown in the last 4 years. And I'm very proud to say that I've been their teacher among that time. The piece of music we're going to be playing is called Turn and Nog, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.